Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Let's Talk Fishing video podcast. My name is Jay Angel, and I'm going to be your host for this evening. Tonight, I have a guy I met probably 4 years ago at the Cajun Outcast Fishing Club monthly event, and we were fishing for redfish, and that's what we're going to talk about. One of my favorite topics, redfish. What a cool fish they are, and what this guy knows redfish. How are you doing tonight, Mike Guillmet?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Jay?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. It's starting to warm up, which probably isn't that good for the redfish. They move out, don't they? After they're not going to be right up on the shore anymore.
No, you can still find them back up in the marsh. That's usually where I fish. I usually fish, back in the marsh, back in duck ponds, shallow areas. It all depends. It depends on the tide and conditions.
Just so our viewers know, when you say shallow, you could be talking as shallow as 6 inches, couldn't you?
Yeah, we're talking 6, 8, 12 inches of water. Sometimes you can actually see them tailing, in which it is awesome, when you do see them, because you can throw a bait right in front of them, and sometimes they'll hit it, and then the fight's on.
Guys, those of you bass fishermen, this is what I tell people: don't come down here. I did. I'm still here. The first time I saw a redfish, and his back was practically out of the water, and his tail was all the way out of the water.
Right.
And I threw I don't know, some kind of a swim bait. I fished for bass all my life. I threw it out well past him and kind of pulled it around and through it. And that thing, man, as soon as I got it in front of it, it kind of went and attacked it. That's no bass. That's no bass.
Yeah.
These things are not timid. They're so much fun. They're mean. They'll bite you. They have teeth. I'm going to tell you, don't go sticking your hand in a redfish's mouth. They will bite you. You got to have a great big long pair of pliers to take it in there. And the first thing I'd like to say, every redfish fisherman needs a knife. Sword knives. Did you hear that? They just sent me this. This thing is long enough to handle a redfish. And if you're Mike, you said most people use electric knives, don't they?
I personally use an electric knife. I have a friend of mine that's all he uses is a hand knife, a regular fillet knife.
It's got to be long though.
Oh yeah.
And it's got to have an edge on it that just won't quit, because redfish, you guys up north, redfish have scales like carp, but a redfish looks a little bit like a carp, but also carp do not in any way, shape, or form look athletic. Redfish you need a good knife like this. This is Sword Knives, SORD, swordfishingtackle.com. Okay, enough of that. So we were talking about redfish. You're gonna be fishing a trail this year, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's the Power Pole Redfish Tour.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to receive a phone call from a guy that I've competed with in the Cajun Outcast fishing rodeos, and he reached out to me and said that his partner wouldn't be able to fish this season, and asked me if I would fish with him. And of course, I told him yes. If you don't get asked that, every day, so yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. What an honor that is for someone to say confidence in in a NAF professional level. Keep talking, Mike.
I think you froze up.
Yeah, if I freeze up again, just keep talking, okay?
Gotcha.
Oh goodness, I'm sorry about this. If I freeze up again, just keep talking. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can. Yes, sir. You good?
Okay, if I freeze up again, just please keep talking. But what an honor that is to be asked to be a person's partner in a
Yes.
professional national level tournament trail.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where are you
I've,
going to be fishing?
this tournament is out of Sweetwater Marine out of Delacroix, Louisiana, down in St.
Ooh,
Bernard, Lower St. So,
I've launched out of there before. In fact, I fished out of that marina with Richard Ziegler.
yep.
He knows that area real well.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you we hit 50 spots that day. I mean, I bet he put 100 miles on his boat. But that's fishing, man. You know, if you can't catch fish, you just remember, okay, I've caught him over here. Okay, I've caught him over there. Okay, let's go to these 3 other places. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
Mojo Tackle's here. How you doing, Greg Combo, man? Greg, speaking of Greg Combo, one of my favorite redfish baits is right here. The Mojo Shrimp colored Pineapple Express. What a look at this, guys. Even you freshwater fishermen, man, you put this under the ice, I guarantee you're going to catch yellow perch, which are my favorite freshwater fish to eat. And speaking of that, you've got some shrimp baits to show, don't you?
Yes, sir. I started shooting baits probably about 3 years ago. I started doing it as a hobby, and I enjoyed it so much that I decided to kind of venture out and ask a couple of people if they would sell a couple of them for me, and it's working out great. They're available on Mojo website, mojotackle.com, under the swim bait, if I'm not mistaken. They're called the South Shore Shrimp, and I have a couple of them here. They're available in 5 different colors. We have them in copperhead, electric blue, green pumpkin, watermelon, and slime time green. And
Ooh.
yeah, and, and that is one of them right there.
Now, what color is that?
This is copperhead, and
That's very natural shrimp color. I love that.
yeah, it's got gold flake in it. So I figured, with the flash of the gold flake, it definitely attracts some fish. This is the electric blue.
Okay, what do you have? Now, do you have that on? What kind of a jig do you have that on?
This is just a weighted hook. It's a you thread it on to the bait, and it's a weighted hook. I also have one rigged up with a same basic thing, except this on this spin.
Yeah.
This,
Doesn't Greg market an underspin too?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is a Mojo Tackle underspin. And this is on the slime time green. And real good bait, real good action to it. With the underspin, you had that flash of the spinner, so it's a very productive bait. These I shot for the Redfish tournament, in which is a new penny with the chartreuse tail, and that chartreuse tail also glows. And
Ooh.
and I had just had this one on a 1/8 ounce jig head.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Why do you use the 1/8? Would you put that underneath a? Would you
Well,
put that underneath a popping cork?
yes, sir. What the 1/8 is going to do is it's going to allow that bait to fall a little bit slower, and you're going to you're going to cover more water, as it falls down. So
It falls very slowly, and
right,
that looks more natural than it going. Shrimp
right,
don't do this. They
right. Yeah, it gives it more of a glide to it. So, well,
You
yeah,
know, when I fish with Lloyd Landry out of actually right over Lloyd Landry's camp is probably 300 yards from Greg Comble's camp over there in Terrio.
right,
He showed me that. He uses 1/8 and 1/16 underneath and we were using matrix shads.
right.
I also caught a ton of fish on the Mojo shrimp too, which One thing I think I missed. I think I might have been frozen, but your baits are available on mojotackle.com, correct?
Yes, sir. They are. They're under the swim baits, and it's going to be called the South Shore Shrimp.
South Shore Shrimp. I like that.
Yes,
That
sir.
kind
Yeah, yeah, and like I
that's
said,
good.
they're available in 5 colors on his website. If there's a color that somebody likes, they see something, that another color that they like, that they would like somebody to make, I can make those also. Custom colors are no problem.
Okay, Greg Campbell just brought up something. He said that you're going to look for these shrimp, the South Shore shrimp, under the soft plastics.
Soft plastics, yeah.
So I just want to make it easier for people to find it.
Right.
He has a bunch of soft plastics. I happen to like his twist too.
Yes,
You know,
the twists are a very productive bait, especially the gold ones. The gold
yes,
twist. Yeah.
Greg will never let me forget this. I was fishing with him out of Terrio. He probably told you this. And I was casting we were catching some 13-inch trout, and I was having fun with some really light tackle, 6-pound test. I told you I'm from the north where we use really light tackle.
Right.
You have to use 4-pound test up there with crystal clear water. But anyways, I was just having fun catching these little, and man, I hooked into about a 20-pound red, and that thing took off, and it had that thread.
Right.
I was using snap, and I mean it left a swirl probably 4 feet in diameter. And,
Right.
and Greg looked over and saw the rod I was using. He's like, "You had one job, Angel, one job." I redeemed myself. I got my 20-pound braid out. That we were talking about that 20-pound braid to 20-pound fluoro.
Right.
Within 10 minutes, I had another red hooked, and I got that one in. It wasn't anywhere near as big, but
still fun.
it is so much fun. It is so much fun, and when you're out with good friends who aren't afraid to give you a little crap,
Right.
it's just so much fun, man. I looked at him and I like, "You're never going to let me forget this." "Oh no, we're talking about this next time I do a podcast with you." I knew it. I had one job and I couldn't even do that right. 50 years I've been fishing and I still can't bring them in.
So you were saying you use 20-pound tests and 20-pound fluorocarbon.
Yes.
Right.
I know you use a lot heavier stuff than that.
Yeah.
But you know what you get used to. I'm just so used to. Then there's an Undertaker cork in between that. Right. Undertakers make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Like that. And you gotta have. You can't go out there with a little fairy wand, man. You got to have a big rod. This right here is a Grant rod. I love my Grant rods. It's so sensitive. Sometimes you have to cast a country mile. Because you just can't get over that 6 inches of the water. And the fish are right over on the other side of that. And so, I can cast a country mile with this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And, and even with that much water out, even with that much line out, and the wind's going this way, the tide's going that way, I can still feel a bite.
Right.
Because redfish, contrary to popular belief, redfish don't always smack it and try to take that rod out of your hands.
No, they don't. I've had days where they barely take the cork under, and you just gotta kind of. Right, you got to wait. Be patient until the right time to set that hook.
Once you get a hook into a redfish, its mouth is made out of leather, so
right,
it's not coming out.
And then I've had other days where they smack the hell out of it, and run. So
you got to love the noise that those popping corks make when a fish really smacks him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I love the noise the reel makes after that.
Yeah, that's screaming reel.
Yeah, and the sound of the braid going through the guides. Oh man, that gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
because braid makes a distinctive sound going through the. I was watching a fishing show, and my wife was watching it too. I said, "You hear that? You hear that? That's the sound of braid going through their guides." And she's like, "Oh no, that is exciting."
Oh yeah.
I said, "You just don't even know." That's good stuff right there. So how long are these plastics that you're making?
The ones that I'm making right now are 3.5 inches.
It's a good.
It's actually probably about 3.75 inches. They're made with a medium durameter plastisol, so they hold up really well. It's not one of these, 1 or 2 fish and it's
Yeah,
done.
one fish, one plastic. Yeah, there's a lot of those around.
Yeah, that can tend to get expensive.
Yes,
You know,
particularly if you get into a school of trout and that's all you can get.
right. Yeah, that those trout have those sharp teeth, so they tend
I,
to tear them.
I like these. I like these because I have caught as many as 60 trout on one freaking Mojo shrimp.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Mojo shrimp definitely hold up. The Kevlar on the tail is what really helps them out. Um, yeah, that's pretty much my go-to is the Mojo shrimp, the Pineapple Express, the Purple Rain works well.
Yes,
Mardi Gras is another color that works really well.
tiger shrimp.
But the tiger shrimp, yeah, it depends on the water clarity, and conditions, So,
Yeah, if I have really let me gather my thoughts here. If I have really dirty water, I will use the bigger size.
right. Yeah, yeah. For me, it all depends on what season it is, pretty much. Usually during the winter time, they'll go after a smaller bait,
Yes.
because they're not as feisty. They're kind of lethargic, to say the least. Usually during the summertime, I'll throw a bigger bait, but yeah. And like I said, it all depends on the water clarity too. Um, dir- Dirty colors, I usually throw, the tiger shrimp. Um, you know, clean water, I'll throw a Pineapple Express or a Mardi Gras. You light
I'll
a
tell
couple.
you what, man. If you know they're there and they're just not biting, here's something I'll do too. This is Crush It Gel. This is called Salty Crack.
Okay,
It's scent. I'll put that right on something like your South Shore shrimp
right,
or the matrix shad or even the Mojo shrimp. But I have to know that the fish are there
right,
and they're just not biting because that has happened. I have seen reds that I just they have lockjaw. I just could not get them to eat.
right. Yeah, yeah. So sometimes they're attracted to the smell also. If
Yeah.
you don't have a scent, then sometimes they just, like you said, they'll have lockjaw.
Sometimes, I'll throw something like a spinner bait at them,
Mhm.
and the big, thump 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 thump, and the flash will trigger them to bite. Sometimes gold spoons,
Right,
but I really don't like. I don't know why. I just don't like gold spoons, even though I have caught fish on them.
right. Yeah, I usually don't throw a lot of spoons. If I do, then it's either a silver or gold spoon. But I'm really not a big spoon person.
Well, tell me about the Cajun Outcast Fishing Club.
Cajun Outcast Fishing Club. I've been a member probably about 4 years now. It's a club. We usually get together once a month. They once a month they have a tournament. This month it is. Sorry, next month it is going to be on April 19th out of Campo's Marina in Shell Beach, Louisiana. It's $25 to enter. We also do a side pot, which is $5 for the it's $5 to enter the side pot. The side pot is the fish with the most spots, the redfish with the most spots. The regular pot is a slot red, the heaviest slot red. You know,
Explain what a slot red is.
a slot red is a redfish between 18 and 27 inches.
Okay. Okay. So that's tough to do, isn't it?
It is,
Get
but
as close to 27 inches as you can.
right. Yeah, they just changed the regulations not too long ago. It used to be 16 to 27, but now it's 18 to 27. So kind of
And no fish over 27.
no fish over 27 inches. No bull reds. They also reduced the creel limit. It used to be 5 fish per angler. It's now 4 fish per angler. So
but these tournaments, and it's the same thing with the professional tournaments you fish, right? You have to get it as close to 27 as you possibly can.
Correct. The tournament that we're fishing this Saturday, the Power Pole Professional Tournament, it consists of 3 fish, but they can't go over 9 pounds. So you have to get as close to 9 pounds without going over.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a tall order. Something that can't be over 27 inches and it can't be over 9 pounds.
Right.
You had to have caught it with your left hand.
It's also all artificial.
All artificial.
Yes, sir. You can't use any live bait, any market bait, anything like that. It's strictly artificial.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be challenging, especially with the weather that we've been having. It's been so crazy with the up and down temperatures, and
Yeah. Bipolar weather makes for depressed fish, man. There is just no mania in this bipolar weather where it's 80 degrees one day and it doesn't get above 60 the next day, and gets down to 40, then it doesn't get above 60. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Now, does that kind of weather affect redfish as much as it does trout?
I don't think it affects it as bad. When it tends to get super cold, the redfish, tend to get deeper into the water column.
Oh yeah. Then it's fun to fish for them, but you're going to be fishing in a parking lot. You're going to be boats 10 feet away from each other.
Right.
Guys, if Cajun Outcast Fishing Club, it's a very friendly, very family-oriented club, and they have events every month, like 10 months out of the year, right?
Pretty much. We usually take off around November, December, January, just because Thanksgiving, you have people going out of town. December, you've got Christmas, you got Christmas parties, you got people going out of town. So, we kind of give it a little break between November and usually January, February. This year, of course, we had Mardi Gras and the Super Bowl. So, we kind of pushed it back a little bit further this
Sure.
year.
And it's not much of an upfront. Everybody in the boat has to be registered in the tournament.
Yes, sir. It's a $25 registration fee. Everybody in the boat that's fishing it has to be registered. The pot all depends on how many people show up, how many people participate. Anybody can fish it. You do have to launch out of wherever we're hosting it out of.
Okay.
Usually we leave around 6:00. Sometimes we'll push it back depending on conditions, whether it's foggy, or safe light,
for safe light, and fog has to do with that. I fished a lot of tournaments. Yeah.
Because safety is a big concern too. We don't want we don't want anybody to go out and, get caught in the fog and, you know, cause an
Get
accident or
or
what
get
have
hit by that guy who has to go 70 miles an hour through a fog.
Right. So like I said, so occasionally we do have to push it back or, but usually when we do, then we'll have a little bit later weigh in. Weigh-in's usually at 2 o'clock. Anything after there's a 5-minute grace period. But anything after 2:05, you can't weigh in which, is fair, like I said,
Yeah, well,
we allow.
it's that way with any tournament. Even the Bassmaster Elite, if you're more than like 15 minutes late, you're not weighing in. It's just the way it is. Yeah.
Right. But I mean,
we have a couple of comments here.
Uh-huh.
Mojo Tackle said that Crush It Gel and Mojo Tackle Company will have some great deals at Shag's Sporting Goods. Their annual tent sale is going to be March 27th, 28th, and 29th. Mike Shrimp will also be there. So the Southside Shrimp is going to be there. Anybody wants to scoop some up. Then Kenny Krieger from Undertaker Corks said, "Good evening, guys." Hey, man, nice to see you here, Kenny.
Yeah, I've got one of his corks right here.
Okay, there's a good thing. When would you use that style as opposed to the style with the cups?
These I like to use on windy conditions, in which it kind of sounds a little crazy, but
no,
windy conditions, the wind tends to flow around this cork a little bit better, so you can actually cast a little bit further with these.
Okay.
I usually fish with them windy or not. This is my go-to cork. I just like the action of it. If I'm fishing trout, I'll usually use what's called the shallow popper, in which I think that's what you have on your fishing
pole. Yeah, this
pole.
is a shallow popper. I don't like the ones that are really long, just for what you said, because the wind catches them too badly. And, I'm trying to cast over there and it's going all the way,
Right.
Even when I'm side casting, which is how I cast, and, man, I'm from the north where it's windy all the time. You learn how to cast like this, so it stays closer to the ground and you can get maybe 30 feet when the wind's right in your face.
Right.
Because no matter which way I'm facing, the wind's right in my face. It just happens, Mike. I have bad luck.
Oh, yeah.
But man, that's great. So you're going to be fishing both the Cajun Outcast and the Power Pole Nationals.
Yeah. Like I said, the Power Pole tournament is this Saturday, the 22nd, and the Cajun Outcast will be on April 19th.
Okay. And when's the next Power Pole tournament?
I don't think they've announced it yet.
Okay.
So, but as soon as I hear something, I will definitely let you know.
Yeah, man, I want to follow you guys and just kind of announce that when you guys going to be fishing the next one. Maybe I'll have Richard on and we could talk about that. Man, that Richard, he's a beast, man. He was up there on his tower with that long push pole, pushing around right over there. That was exciting,
Yeah. I've been very.
He's in his 60s and he's still in that good a shape.
Yeah, he's been doing it since 1996, I believe. He's been professional. Yeah, and I'm very blessed to have such a large support, from, like I said, Richard Ziegler for reaching out to me, Greg Campbell with Mojo Tackle, he is just an awesome guy. He anything I need, he's right there. Kenny Krieger, another one. Anything I need, he's right there. So
you can't, as a normal guy like me and you, guys who aren't Elon Musk, we need the support of the industry in order to do what we do. I podcast. I put a lot of time and money into my podcast, and And when I don't have to buy baits because guys do a trade out for advertiser like you can also give them promotion for your, when you fish your tournaments and you talk to people about this stuff. You come on podcasts like mine and talk about this stuff.
Right.
It's how the industry works, man. You're doing exactly what you should be doing when you're getting those things. You're talking about them. You're promoting them. You're showing people. Well, I never caught any fish on that. Well, let's talk about this. How do you use it? Do you just throw it out there and let it sit? Because you're not going to catch anything on a Mojo shrimp doing that.
Right.
You got to put it underneath the popping cork. You got to work that thing.
Yeah.
And you change up your retrieves and see what the fish want. Sometimes they just want it. They just want it going down the current like this, and sometimes they want you to freaking put your whole body into popping that thing, and it goes thump.
Right. Yeah, we I also run a little Facebook group, Nothing But Redfish. We have 9,400 members, and we also we let them advertise on there, and
I advertise on there.
Oh yeah.
Don't you do All About Fishing too?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's not quite as big. I want to say I have probably about 650 members on All About Fishing. But
I think I put just about every one of my podcasts on All About Fishing, and I get a lot of response off that. Thank you for running such great groups, man.
No problem. No problem. We enjoy running them.
Remember that, guys. All About Fishing Facebook group and Nothing But Redfish. And Nothing But Redfish, you can actually post stuff about trout on there.
Yeah.
I think you guys don't even mind sheep's head, do you?
No, Nothing But Redfish. It's pretty much just a name. We do allow, posting of different fish, freshwater fish, saltwater fish, you name it. We it, like I said, it started out as just going to be nothing but redfish, but we live in South Louisiana, so so we have a lot of people that don't target redfish that are still in the group, so like I said, we let people post pretty much, whatever fishing pictures or, whatever fishing related stuff they want,
Check those out, guys. Check both those Facebook groups out. They're no nonsense Facebook groups. You're not going to have pictures. You're not going to have women advertising what they do.
Right.
On there, you're not going to have guys trying to sell T-shirts to us. Mike doesn't allow that kind of nonsense.
Right. It's a private group, and both myself and Jeff Sands, we're both, we both run the group, and we have to approve everybody's post. So if a post comes through there that has foul language in it, then we'll politely send whoever. Because from time to time you have people that will be videoing and somebody will use a word that's inappropriate, and we try to monitor stuff like that. We try to watch the videos, but from time to time they slip through. But we do encourage people not to use foul language on there, because we have, smaller children, not children, but, younger adults that they really don't need to be hearing stuff like that, Or,
what I'm like? It's just no nonsense, because if you allow it, man, you're going to have people that are trying to sell you T-shirts from someplace in Africa, and I'm just not interested.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of scammers out there, that prey on people, so.
Yeah.
And another thing too is that we don't allow people to bash other people,
Yes.
We've had a couple of instances, somebody says something about it. Oh, you shouldn't kept that many fish. Well, that's a
common one.
Right. Well, look, if you want to keep a limit of fish, hey, that's fine. If you want to catch and release, hey, that's fine too.
You got someone like Chad St. Pay, one of my favorite captains from Cajun Outcasts Charters. He has a boat, 5 people in there, and when the trout limit was 25 apiece, you get 5 people at 25 trout. Do the math. It's
Right.
125 trout. And if you put all those trout out, because every one of them was 18 inches long, that's a heck of a catch. And some, oh no, look at all those fish you killed. Well,
Right.
if they're within their legal limit, I don't have any problem with that.
Right.
They're not poaching,
Right.
so and guys, Captain Chad St. Pay, Cajun Outcast, I have fished with him. 5 people in the boat. We all caught trout all day long. What that's hard to do.
Right.
If you can catch trout right through the slack tide and just keep doing it, man, you're good.
Right. Yeah, and like me, if I catch a limit, and it, what I'll usually do is I'll my grandparents can't fish anymore, so I'll take care of them with fish. My mother-in-law doesn't fish, so I'll give some fish to her. So it's not like they're going to waste, um, you know,
Yeah, man. Well, that's exactly what I do. Just like we were talking before. I'll bring home a couple redfish, put them on the half shell, invite the neighbors over. They'll bring some beer. I provide the redfish. I guarantee
right,
I spent more money driving from Denham Springs all the way down to Delacroix.
right,
But
yeah,
it's not about that. It's about the experience. Fishing. I'm sure you believe this. Fishing is so much more than just fishing, man. It's the people that you fish with. It's the relationships you make.
oh
It's
yeah,
it's being out there and seeing the sunrise and
right,
just as the sun rises, it's that magic hour when you hear shrimp popping. You're like, oh my gosh, I know they're here. I know they're here. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And then when that first, particularly a redfish, when you're going like this and one bites just as you're pulling down, yes,
oh yeah,
guys. If you've like I've said before so many times on this show, if you love to fish for bass, you're going to become enamored with redfish. Don't come down here. I came down here back in 2012. It's 2025. I'm still here.
yeah, right,
Redfish are just such a cool fish.
oh yeah,
They taste good. These are
oh
not
yeah,
tarpon, man. They taste good.
yeah.
So, 37 after the hour, buddy. Do you have some shout outs you'd like to do?
Yeah, I have a couple of shout outs I'd like to. First of all, I'd like to thank my wife because she supports me 100%, in everything that I do.
Two
I can't.
thumbs up.
um, my friend Jeff Sands, the one that I run nothing but redfish with. Great guy. He's my right hand man.
Yep.
Um, Thomas Freno, like a brother to me. So Greg Campbell with Mojo Tackle, Kenneth Krieger with Undertaker Corks, Paul Bates with Fillets All Knives,
Ooh, yeah.
Reynolds with Bose Custom Rods, Chip Clements with Sinkers by the Pound, Mr. Richard Ziegler. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for inviting me to be a partner this season for the Redfish Power Pole Redfish tournaments. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Chad St. Pay. Well, man, great captain. If any of y'all need a captain, highlight Chad. He's an awesome captain. He helped us get our group up off the ground, and I can't thank him enough. Also, Gary Dubriel with Cajun Outcast Fishing Club. Also, great guy, man. Like a brother to me. Couldn't ask for a better dude. I'm sure that there's some people that I forgot, and if I did, I do apologize. But that's the ones that really stand out. Like I said, all of them are just have supported me along the way, and I do appreciate every single one of y'all. And
You
of course,
mentioned those. Oh, go ahead.
and of course you, Jack.
Oh,
For
thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you. You mentioned Bo from Bo Gentiles from
Yes.
Bo's Custom Rods. He lives about a mile away from me.
Yeah.
I met him on TikTok. I was doing a live on TikTok, and he said, "Hey man, where are you from?" And I said, "Well, I'm from Chicago, but I live in Watson." He said, "Watson? No way. Where do you live in Watson?" I told him. He's like, "You got to come over to the shop, man." I went over there and saw how he makes his rods and
Right.
all the other stuff that he does, and quality rods, man. I know quality rods, and I like his stuff.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I've been having one rod from him for 4 years now, and not a lick of problems. I mean,
No.
very quality rod.
In fact, he grabbed the rod and he had it like this. He was doing. He goes, "No, I'm going to grab that side and try to break this thing."
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have bad luck. He goes, "You ain't gonna break it. Come on, boy, try to break that thing. Try to break." And I started doing this. "Come on, man, try to break that thing. I'm going to show you how."
Oh yeah.
No, man, I have bad luck. I have broken so many rods. So I used to be with G. Loomis. I bet I broke 6 of those things.
Yeah.
Hey, Brett, 6 of them. And those were really good way back when, before they got sold.
Right.
And but man, he's got quite. He has one of those big boats you can take out to fish for tuna and stuff. And
Right.
he's a tuna boat charter out of Grand Isle now.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, great guy. And you talk about Chad St. Pay. I've had the pleasure of fishing with him and against him.
Right.
In Cajun Outcast. Great guy. I've had him on the show several times. Greg Combo, I fished with him probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 times.
Right.
Great, fantastic guy, man. Yeah, he'll do anything. He'll do anything for you. I bet I have 100 of those shrimps. But then again, I fish from the shore. I'll walk around and talk to people. They're like, "How are you catching all those fish, man?" Here, take one. Well, you know what they say, the first shot of heroin's always free. They cast that out there. I show them how to use it. They start catching fish. Hey, man, mojotackle.com.
Right.
I'm not doing anything underhanded. I'm just showing them how I catch fish,
Right.
That's what you do probably on Cajun Outcast. I'm sure you show people how to, about the Mojo shrimp.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but that looks like the voodoo. If you know anything about the fishing industry, this is Shongaloo Outdoors, okay? Every single soft plastics company makes one of these. This is a wacky worm.
Right.
And I bet you I could look around on my desk right here and find 6 other companies that also make wacky worms.
Right.
And they all look remarkably similar. Just the way the tackle industry is, man. But I like the Mojo shrimp because it has Kevlar in it. And anything you don't have Kevlar in, as you know, redfish, trout, they're gonna tear that. Sheep's head have teeth like we do.
Right.
Tear it up. Tear it up. But I also want to do a shout out, man. Thank you for all the help you've done for me. You and Jeff literally were probably one of my first 30 guests. And now that I've had over 300 of them.
Yeah. Well, we definitely appreciate you letting us, come on your show and talk about our group and, talk about just, what's going on right now, as far as me personally, as far as fishing the pro series and, all
That's
those
exciting.
Oh,
That's exciting. You fishing your first pro tournament ever, man. That is exciting. And man, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you the best of luck, man.
Oh, I think we're going to need it because the conditions haven't been favorable lately, but we're going to give it a try.
Man, I tell you what, that might be in your favor because people are going to come here from Florida and Texas, and they have no idea how to deal with those kind of conditions here in Louisiana.
Right.
So think about it that way, and there's some tough competition. Some of those guys, South Carolina, they have big redfish there. Texas, they have big. They don't have as many, but they have big redfish there. Florida, they have redfish all the way around Florida. Some of those guys really had their stuff tight. And if Stacy Fertina's there, you're going to see how good women can fish.
Right.
Stacy Fertina is a heck of a competitor. I've had her on the show a couple times too.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it exciting, man. Let's see how you and Richard stack up against those kind of people. You might be surprised.
Okay.
Well, you've been fishing your whole life in these waters, man. You know,
Yes, sir.
your whole life you've been fishing in these waters, and Richard has a trick or two up his sleeve too. It'll be interesting, man. You know, Richard's old school with that long pole, and you know, he's got his head on a swivel, and he's looking for any sign of life in the water.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. That it's not a tower, but it's a pole and platform. You know, it definitely.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't have a tower, but it's not 30 feet up.
Right. Right. But you know, it definitely gives you a little bit of an advantage, especially if you have a good pair of Polaroid sunglasses, because you can actually see down into the water a little bit. So, yeah, we're not on any
standing down there only 5 feet from the, you know.
Right.
I still have my head on a swivel when I'm fishing, though. I'm always looking for some kind of sign of life in that water.
Right.
Even though I can barely see even with my glasses on nowadays.
Yeah.
It's not a whole lot escapes me, but man, when you're 6 feet above me,
yeah,
and you have 50 years of experience on that water, between you and him, I bet you guys, man, 70, 80 years of experience on those waters.
Yeah. I've been fishing since I could walk, you know, so
It's the 70s probably. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you know, I grew up down there in St. Bernard Parish, so I'm familiar.
Oh,
Right.
what a place to grow up, man. So much cooler than Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I said, you know, what's crazy is I had a boat before I even had a car. Yeah.
There you go. Well, that's priorities in St. Bernard Parish, man. That's your priorities, you know. Hey, guys, you know what? It's 47 after the hour. I was having such a great time talking to Mike. I let it run over a little bit, but that's okay. I don't have any rules, really, other than no swearing, you know, and no political talk, man. Well, anyways, you know, guys, it's Wednesday night. Make your plans. Go fishing this weekend. It's not going to tornado like it did last weekend.
Yeah.
So, you know, get out there on the water, because in the last couple of days when you're laying on your deathbed talking to your wife, you're not going to remember how great of a time you had watching Breaking Bad. Yeah. You're going to remember the memories you made with your friends, the memories you made with your family. Take your kids fishing. It's just a wholesome activity that the entire family. Join the Cajun Outcast Fishing Club, man. They have kids events too. Very family oriented. A lot of guys take their wives with them. I know Chad St. Pay's wife fish with him sometimes on those tournaments.
Oh yeah.
So it's just a wholesome activity, man. And, you know, and with me, it's not even a sport. It's a lifestyle. That's what I am. I'm a fisherman. I'm also a husband and a Christian and a parent. Yeah. And, you know, that's. But hey, man, stick around, Mike. I'd like to talk to you for a couple minutes after the show, but not too long. And guys, I'm going to end the podcast with this. I really had a good time here. Thank you to everybody who tuned into the Let's Talk Fishing podcast. Good night.
Good night.